I'm Glenn.
Good afternoon. Morning. Afternoon. What the hell time is it? It's afternoon, ain't it? It's afternoon. It is afternoon. It's almost 3 o'clock. It's 2:45. What is up, Milan? How are you doing, my friend? What is up, Viking? I'm going to goof off. I've been cutting scrap pieces all up, making cutting board pieces. And I'm going to glue a cutting board together because a friend of mine down in Florida wants one, but she also thinks staying there for a few days, cool for you, man. She thinks she can sell these down there. So I'm gonna make her one. I'm gonna make her 2 or 3, and I'm gonna ship them down to Florida. And I guess she's got a friend that's got a consignment shop or something down there. And I'm gonna do a couple of basic ones. And my legs freaking chair's driving my leg nuts as usual. I'm going to send a couple down to her, and she can keep one and try and sell one and see how that goes. I'm also trying a new little thing that I've already ripped up this morning. And actually, it's a stupid thing. Silicone mats, like the Wham Bam slap mats. I'm hoping, normally I take these little, I just have a plywood jig. It kind of makes it easier to clamp the cutting board up squarish. And I normally line it with packaging tape. I still line it with packaging tape, but every once in a while, the packaging tape. What's up, Steve? The packaging tape kind of doesn't. I mean, the glue doesn't stick to it, but it sort of sticks to it. And I'm hoping with these little thin mats, I can separate it from the jig a little bit easier. They're not really big enough, but they do most. I've already ripped one of them. They're stupid thin. They were. I got them at Amazon during the Amazon deal thing day, which I don't think it actually was a deal. I have a feeling a lot of those Amazon deals, they jack up the price the day before. If it's $5, they jack it up to $6, and then say, "Hey, look, it's $1 off today." Because these were $5 for 2 of them. They're just too little. They're really, really thin, which is actually what I wanted for this. I don't want them thick because I have a feeling it will make when the boards they glue together, they'll have too much play. Because you can clamp them down. I mean, not that I'm going to get them perfect anyways. This is far from perfectly flat, but I can get it close. But anyway, I'm going to put them on there and see if it will help, like, not stick. I know you really can't see the board because the thing's in the way. I should cut that down. It doesn't need to be that tall. Maybe I'll run that through the table saw right now. You know what? I think I will. And that way, I really don't want it that tall anymore. I can just lay it down and run it through. It don't have to be perfect anyways. So, yeah, be warned. It's going to get loud for a second. You guys really can't see what I'm doing. This is really pretty. But that's fine. Get over it. And I want it right about, let's take this board and make it just a little bit lower than that. This is probably stupidly dangerous. But, hey, it's me, and I like living dangerously. Bring the blade down just in case it does get stupidly dangerous. And fire it up. Helps if I lock the drawing support, huh? Gotta lock the fence down. That would help. Now, it's not so high. Actually, maybe I'll do this side too. That didn't make it into the junk pile. And that way, they're not taller than the wood I'm working with, which is a good thing, because it was getting annoying trying to clamp it over. So let's put my little silicone mat back on here. The vacuum actually ripped this. I was trying to clean it because I've already been playing with them, and the glue sticks to the rough side a little bit, but it seems to clean off the smooth side. I don't know if you could tell, but there's a shiny smooth side, and then there's kind of a rough side. I think it'll come off the rough side. I just got a little aggressive with it. And I was literally vacuuming it. I was getting sawdust off of it. And the vacuum caught the corner, sucked it up. I pulled on it and just tore it. That's how thin these are. But that's all right. I think I want them thin. So this might allow you to actually see sort of what I'm doing now too, won't it? It does, sort of. So I'm just going to lay some boards in here. I have a whole box that I've been gluing together. If you watch some of my other streams, you see I've been doing this crap. And I ripped them all down so they're pretty much the same height. Normally I just would let them be whatever and I just use scraps. But I'm not going to on this one. I'm going to try and make them the same height so there's less planing, less glue mess. So I have a whole box all the same height, not width. I am going to have to rip widths because again they are all scraps, but they're all glued together, stuff that was too small. So yeah, I'm just going to go at it and assemble some. So what is everyone else up to? This one's all glued together. It's kind of hard to tell, but that's like 4 different pieces of black walnut, which I'm just not throwing out black walnut. It's just too precious. It's precious. And of course, it's a hair too short. And that's my problem, is a lot of this stuff's going to have to be trimmed to match and do all kinds of weird crap. Because none of them are the same thickness. They're the same height now, but none of them are the same thickness. So I'm going to have to fit a few and rip a few and make things match and cut things to fit. But I do have a lot of stuff that's similar. So I should be able to kind of get an idea of what I'm doing here. But don't count on it. What I really need to do is get them close to the same width and length. I think I'm going to be making a little bit shorter because everything I have is just like that inch short. I got all kinds of scrapoid pieces that I could just randomly pattern this thing out. Sort of randomly. Those look to be very close to the same width, but not quite. And I'd really like to try something white on the end, which I bet I have. It's right here. Look at this total scrap piece. It's like total bunch of scraps all glued together. It's kind of fat, so I'll wait. Because I'm sure I've got more. And I do. And this is almost the same width, ain't it? Yep. So, and that puts the 2 things on either side. That's kind of cool. We'll have the 2 maples. So if I rip them to the same width, it's plywood. That can go in the junk pile. Set this puppy up for the right height, and that way I can just make them the same width. I just keep cutting them down. making everything line up. So this is the fatter of the thinner of the two. So if I just take a little nickety nick off of this one, that way when I throw the other one through, it will be exactly the same thickness. And then they will glue together just beautifully. Now I know they're exactly the same thickness. So I can edge cut them because neither one of them are square. Edge cuts. I believe I got it high enough so I can do both of them at the same time. And just take a little nickety knock off. That way I know it'll fit this way too. And I kind of did it backwards because I want to glue it to this end. Dumbass. That's all right. We can cut this end too. If I want to lower the blade because I don't want to cut through my jig. So I want this over here. How you guys doing today? I want this over here. Those two will line up. And mark this right here. Do I need to put that through? No, that's smooth. It's just a little warp. When you clamp it up, it'll go away. So I would just want this little piece. I'm gonna have this to start with. That will be that. Actually, I think I will kind of want to do that one. That's so close, and it is too short. Gosh darn it. You know what I may do? Just cut that all off. Put this here. This here. That way, when I cut it, this doesn't end up too small. And I like it. And then I can put that there. That needs to be cut off square. A lot of these glue ups aren't cut off square. I almost use this, huh? For not quite long enough. But I got a whole box of stuff over here. Whole boxes of stuff. Look at that. That's a nice stripe. That might have to be an outside edge. I don't think I have enough here to do a whole cutting board, but it should be close. And I have more full strips down there, not glue togethers. I just want to use up some of these glue togethers. There's going to be a lot of dark in this, I have a feeling. Yeah, these are all that bit shorter, so maybe I'm going to make this thing a half an inch shorter. Because I got a lot of stuff that's a half an inch shorter. And I have a lot of black walnut-y stuff. I should probably save, but yeah, you know, it'll be a dark board. Let's with this one's down. So I know they match. Actually, you know what? I have this piece of maple right here that I believe is the right thickness, height it is. And it's got some squirrely scuff on the end and some squirrely scuff here. So if I knock it off a little bit and use it, I think that's just what I'm going to do, is use it for some of these thinner pieces. I'll take a little more off. I can still see a rough edge. Probably have a burn mark in that because I stopped. I have a little one, but I don't think that'll be a problem with the glue up. So I can put that in there. What are you guys up to? Anybody doing anything fun and exciting? That right there. Actually, I think I'll just start cutting everything back to this one. And then I got this little thin strip, which I have more thin strips, so I can use the thin strip with the thin strip, you know, because, you know, thin strips. Sled me. Find the edge and cut. And then I will, let's see, do I want to just use another piece of this? Really go mapley out? No. I think I should actually put this right here. Yeah, that looks good. Let's cut this to whatever length. I cut that a little short, didn't I? Oh well. It's going to get even shorter. Let's see. I need to get that right out of the way because this needs to be on that side. There's some crap on it, but if I put that on the bottom, that will all get cleaned away. I really want that a little longer. I made it too short. Let's redo it because I made it too short. I really don't like that long, but that's life. I cut on the wrong side of the frickin' line, I did. Let's do it again. That's better. Much better. And then we can put a little thin one of these in. But that's not frickin' clean. That'll have to be the end of the glue up. Same with this one too, huh? Nope, that's actually pretty clean. I want that little piece of cherry against that? Not really. That's not quite long enough. But I have something close. This is close, but not quite right. Actually, that's just a hair too short too. Everything's just that hair too short. Let's see, do I have another one about that thin? Is that about the same thickness? Just about. Do I want to use the purple heart there, or do I want to put it in the middle somewhere? I think I want to use it more on the end. I have another little piece right here. Almost want to like double this up prematurely and get it to like fit that way. Damn, that's close. It's almost exact. If I were to glue it up now, I could almost get away with that. If I glue this up now, even though this edge here, I don't know if you can see it, but the edge right here is a little off. This is a little thicker than this one, the two of these put together. But then I could just run it to the joiner and bring it down. That's not quite long enough, but that is, but this isn't. But this is. That's the whole thing with doing this, is you just gotta like play until you get what you want. Kind of want to rip this in half. This thing's kind of big and fat. I think I might. What's up, tripod? How is life? And I need to cut the end off because it's got an overhang. Do you think I want to rip this? I want to make like a thinner piece. That's kind of fat. Although I kind of like it fat. Then I don't want that there. But this is clean, so that could go there. Then that could go there. And then this is about the same thickness as that. Not quite exactly, but darn close. But I'd much rather have some. So I wish I could. That's not square cut. Let's square that off. And just kind of fit stuff together till you like what you see. This is a whole nightmare of stuff right here. This joint didn't come out very good. Not real happy with that. I don't have a lot of maple in here. I do have more maple. I was just trying to use up all the scrap first. I do have more pieces over here, but they're not glued to the right height yet, which I could do. and just hold off. Ooh, that's the right height, and that's a big old chunk of maple. So if I run it with this, I'll get 2 pieces. I think that's what I'm going to do. This needs to clean up. So if I run this through the saw, then I can have 2 pieces like that. And then I have more maple to work with. Clamp it together. I'm going to have to thin it out because if you heard that fight a little bit, it's because as I ran it through, this doesn't have a riving knife. I don't know, actually, do I? That might actually be good enough, even though I can see the saw mark in it. It's not terrible. Can't even really feel it. You heard it going? This saw is so old, it doesn't have a riving knife. So as it was cutting, the boards were curling back together on the other side. So I didn't get a clean cut. There's actual saw marks, which this saw gives me like a glass cut if it goes through straight. But it basically like warped as it goes through, and the tension's released from grain around it, you know. But that'll clamp together. That's actually nice. I think I'm going to leave it. So I have this one and this one. I think I'm actually going to go this way with it. So I will mark it. Whatever I do with the pencil, it's over here. Make it just a hair long. Then I'll cut this because this has a bad end anyways. And now you know all the work it takes to make one of these random pattern cutting boards. I That's actually fine. I'm not even going to bother cutting it. So that's there. I will cut these 2. So this one, pieces parts. Pieces parts. And just make a fancy little cutting board. I did cut this. It's going to cut through this stuff. Good. So this can go there. I want it flipped over. I still think I want to cut this in half. Yeah, that goes there. Then this goes here. Yeah. And then that, which is a lot longer. It's not quite the same height. Gosh darn it. Just a little bit short, but oh well. That's what the planer's for. Then I think we will do a piece of purple heart. I think I have something very similar thickness right here, something a little thicker. That is still not thick enough though. There's that. And that's a little thin to be running through the table saw again. But that's darn close. And I think what I'll do is I'll go to there, put one more piece on, and that will be that. That's going to clamp out. Is that going to be a lip? So I'm only going to clamp. I'm only going to glue up about half of this board at a time. Because it just makes it easier. It's hard to glue up a whole board at once when you're doing all these pieces. I've found you get a lot of bad joints because you just can't do it. It's really, really hard. And I'm just using up scraps. I might even start the other half of it on, because I have two of these little jigs. Start the other half on the other jig. And that way, so I'm not, actually it's only about a third I've got here. Put this big black bastard right in the middle. Yeah, baby. That's a nice piece. This is Wingay. It's very dark, especially when you hit it with oil, it gets even darker. How thick is that? It looks like I'm about halfway across this jig, which would make me happy, because then I can just start gluing this up. 14 millimeters. That's another 13 to the end. So yeah, I'm good. At least I'll go back in the box, and I will glue up this half, and then all the rest of this will make the other half. How's that sound for fun? Got another piece of like purple heart thinness here. So yeah, that's looking pretty good. That looks pretty sweet. It's going to be very dark. A lot of like black walnut scraps and stuff showing through. What's the bottom look like? Bottom's very blonde. You know what? I like it. I'm going to leave it. I think it's time to glue it up. What do you guys think? I'm liking it. Can you even see it? Yeah, you can sort of see it on the screen. Sorta, kinda, sorta. That's about half of it. It's pretty neat looking, huh? Something a little bit different. That's why I like doing these, because it's a little bit different. It's just a little bit different. Shall we glue it up and then clamp it up? I think we shall. And I think I can just use little clampety clamps for this. Yep, those should work. So don't know. So I don't know what order they were in. Yeah, it's all screwy. It's very screwy. I don't think I like that. It's got a big knockout here. And this is all knotty, which I don't want on the top. And I definitely want this on the side. Now I just screwed myself up. So I could just knock that one. Let's leave that one out. And we'll just go right to the full-size cherry here. Ooh, gluing. I'm going for it. I'm committed. I just cut these. This is another thing I'm testing out. These were very long. They're actually, you could buy these like special gluing silicone brushes that have these short little bristles. They're like $10 a piece. I mean, they're not ridiculously expensive. I bought a whole set, 2 black, 2 red of these. 2 big ones, 2 little ones, a big black one, a big red one, a little red one, a little black one, for like $8, and they're the same thing. These are actually barbecue brushes, but the bristles are very long because of the barbecue, where the glue ones are usually much shorter. And I am finding the long bristles. I didn't think it was going to be a problem, and it's really not. It just holds more glue waste, if that makes sense. So I cut these, and it stiffens it up and makes it so it doesn't load up as much and waste as much. So you always have to load it the first brush. The first application, but after that, it's all set. Well, if you load it up and it's smaller, it doesn't take as much. Plus, it's like, I don't know how to describe it. It's stiffer, which is actually nicer for this. That makes sense. So they're cheaper. I cut them myself, and they work just fine. So there's that. So for like I think it was $7 or $8 for this whole set, 4 instead of 1 for $10 that just says, glue brush, which, whatever, dude. The same thing. Same freaking thing. So I made the same thing. Because, it's the same thing. I'm going to flip that over. That's the shorty, unfortunately, but that's all right. It's not going to be that much shorter. Got glue in the jig. And I'm getting glue on my t-shirt. That's one of the few t-shirts I have that doesn't have glue all over it. Oh, well. Oh, well. So what are you guys doing on this hot summer day? It has been sprinkling, raining all day here, which is actually a good thing. We're like in a drought, or we're in a drought, and actually I don't even think this is enough. It was kind of nice because it didn't just downpour. We had a halfway decent mist of rain for a couple hours before it started downpouring. So the ground got to soak up a little before it just started oozing all over the place. Because I don't know if you guys understand that whole thing, but you have very dry ground and then it just dumps rain. It doesn't absorb it. It just runs off. It just runs off. There's like stuff on here. I want to get rid of the stuff. Not much stuff, but there's my little scrapers right here. So I did it. Just little glue bubbly things where a drop of glue got on there and hardened from the last time I was doing this. But it's nice to get it off, so it doesn't like make the joint all bubbly because it's all hard and holds the board out. Does all kinds of bad stuff. And I'm dripping glue all over the floor over there on that end. But that's life. That is life. In the fast lane of cutting board glue up, I guess. I don't know. Me and my brother glued up some stuff yesterday. I actually glued up some more today. We're doing dartboard cases. Anybody want to buy a dartboard case? I'm doing it. There's a demo piece. It's all the very old oak. And we glued up some doors, possibly, and planed down some stuff I can build the box out of, which I gotta actually build the box. Ooh, that's not square cut. I just noticed that. You know what? I can leave that on the outside though, so it don't matter. I don't have to bother getting the saw covered in glue now that I got it all glued. I'll just oh crap. Okay. New plan. Let's flip it over. New plan. Cover it in glue. Must have glue to hold. Now I got glue all over me because I'm a dumbass. But it's alright. All I gotta do is glue a very little bit of this because that's already covered in glue there. So I just put a little bit on this end. There's already enough glue there. And I can just clamp that all in place. We're done. It's clampity clamp time. Oh, don't tell me these aren't going to be quite long enough to do this. Oh, they are just long enough to do this. Awesome. And I mean just. Alright, get a little tension on it. Push all the joints together. Wherever there is a joint, I think I might have to put a clamp on there. This is way too long. Oh well. It's just a demo piece. Do I have any open joints? I think I do. It means I need a little rubber mallet and a piece of wedgie wedge. A piece of scrappy scrap. Which I have over here somewhere. This should work. Well, that might be too thin or too fat. But this ought to work. Nice piece of crappy plywood. Make sure the joints are all tight. Well, looks like they are. So I should be able to tighten all of this stuff up now. Let's put this way, because it's just easier to get my hand on the spindly part. And I need to tighten up this joint. I see a joint that's coming loose already. Right here. That helped. I think it's perfect, but it helped. Once you start clamping it, the glue actually gets sticky. And it's just so much easier to get my hand on the spin part here, the actual handle of the clamp from this side, because your hand keeps knocking on the jig over here. And then 2 more to do the very ends that are attached to the jig. 2 more clampity clamps. Wonderful. Yeah. I gotta really clean these. They're just covered in glue and don't operate so well. Because I'm a slob with the glue. Come on, baby. Clamp down that end. Clamp down this end. The very, very end. Because we need it at the end. Crank it down and let it set. Boom, done. Let's scrape up some of that glue on this side. Lifting up. There's a little bit. There's a little bit. This is this clampy clamp right here. And I got glue all over me. And I'm going to get more on me because I'm going to wipe some of this up so it's not big old bubblies. It'll be smoother. You'll still see it. It'll still be there. But it should be, in theory, smoother. So when I go to run it, clean it, I won't have as much glue nightmare. I really need to find a way to get water out here. I mean, I have all the pipes run. I just got to hook them up to the house. I got to bust a hole through the wall. That's the problem. I have, when I built this garage, I ran all the plumbing under the slab and out the foundation and down the back wall. Well, it was all dug up. I didn't. I brought the pipes. I think they're like 4 foot off the house because I didn't want to drill the hole and do all the concrete ceiling part at the time in the house. And that's how it's been ever since. I never actually hooked the water lines or the septic line. There's water and a septic coming out here. And it goes all the way down this back wall and over to here. There's actually a toilet flange, a water line in, and a cold line in, and a septic out. But I haven't attached it to the house, so it's not hooked up or anything. So there's the start. Let's put this over here to dry. And put everything away. Clean up, because that's all I'm going to do today. Because it's freaking humid here. It's not that hot. It's been raining all day, but oh my God, is it humid here. It is like sickening humid. I think I'm going to cut this one down too, since I got it out. Let's cut one of the big ones down to a shorter bristle length. These work really good. The glue dries up and you just kind of like rub the brush and it peels right off. Comes clean. You don't have to like wash it or anything. You just let it dry right on there. Nice sharp utility knife. Yeah, let's make them about. Yeah, let's cut them about in half. And this is going to be fun because it never cuts all of them. You always have to get the ones that slide out because they're all silicone-y. Although that might have worked using this. And there you go. That actually did work. Mostly. There's some on the ends that are a little rolled out, but not terrible. And that's how you take a $4 brush or a $1.50 brush or whatever it was and make it into a $10 glue brush. By just shortening, that's about a good length. This, I think I went a little too short. This is a better feel. We'll find out. Next glue up. And then I just hang them and let them dry. And that, my friends, is that. I'm all glued up. I got glue on my countertop over here somehow or another. My bench. Probably from the brush. Pencil goes back in the pencil holder. Tape measure goes in the tape measure holder. Knife gets put there on the little knife shelf. And everything's sort of halfway picked up. And I got glue everywhere. Yes, got glue everywhere. So, it is, I'm sweating. And it's not that hot. I mean, it's warm. It's like, I don't know, 80 degrees. I don't even think it's that warm, actually. It just got really dark again. So I have a feeling it's going to start raining again. 76 degrees. But, I don't know if you can see that. The degrees is the little one. That big one that says 85 is the humidity. That's how humid it is here right now. It's like thick humid, which I know half the country is too. But I mean, it's always humid here, kind of. But it's like that's bad even for here. And it's supposed to get worse all week. This whole week is supposed to be gnarly. And I have yet to put air conditioners in or anything like that. So I have a feeling that's what I'll be doing tomorrow. In the heat. I'm going to wait until it gets really hot and put them in tomorrow. Like a dumbass. I'm actually thinking about just saying screw it and spend the day tomorrow and move all my crap into the basement because my mother doesn't want to live there no more. And it's way nicer in the basement. And she's like, oh, it's so wet. It's not wet down there. I have a massive heat pump in the basement. Our basement is no longer, most basements absorb moisture, blah, blah, blah. But my hot water tank's a heat pump. And if you go down there now, since I've put that heat pump down there in the summertime, the temperature is a good 10 degrees cooler than outside, at least, if not more. And it's dry because the heat pump pulls the humidity out of the air along with the heat, which is why you have to have a condensation tube on it. And right now, you can go in my basement and you can hear that condensation tube it's not even dripping, it's just running. Like all the time. And it's pretty dry in the basement. So if she don't want to live there, I'll move there into the basement. I don't mind. It's so dark down there. It's a full walkout basement. The whole west wall is wide open. It's got a double bay window on both sides and two doors on both sides because we have a wall up the middle with the staircase. Basically, the staircase splits the basement in half. And there's a wall underneath the staircase. So, yeah, it's like a good 10 to 15 degrees cooler down there. And humidity is like almost non existent. Now the disadvantage is it's the same issue in the winter. So if I do move down there and I stay down there, I may have to put a pipe like into the dryer vent kind of thing off the heat pump in the winter, pumping it outside because it'll make the room cold. Which the cool doesn't bother me. Like 50 degrees and up, 50 to 70 degrees is my prime temperature. I love 50 degrees. 50, 60 degrees, I'm happier than a pig in shit. You get any colder than that, it gets uncomfortable. But I'd rather have 40s than 80s in humid. Because 80s and humid is there's just no escaping it. 40s I can put clothes on. 80s there's nothing you can do but fire up an air conditioner, and I don't like air conditioning. I really, really don't. I got a lot of glue on me. I made an absolute mess, but half that board's glued up now. Now I just got to figure out how I'm going to make the other half. I got a couple more over there. One sold. The other one I think I'm going to send to her and say keep it. It's a really nice one. Matter of fact, I think did I videotape me patching it? Because I screwed it up and I fixed it. Probably not, but whatever. It's pretty. The problem is I don't want her to say, "Oh, he can make one of those," because there's no way I can make another one like that. That is complete glued together scraps. What's up, Bionic? So to make another one would be like days. I mean, it's literally the same with the one I'm making now. It's all such glued together pieces that it's just scraps. So it actually takes more labor to make it look like that. I got boards up there that I've had long enough now because I always buy them and let them acclimate to the garage for a couple of weeks minimum. I am going to do a production line cut. So, I was cutting them to fit. I'm going to make a bunch, I have 3 different widths basically I'll use 3/4, half inch, 3/8, and I'll just mass rip a whole bunch of walnut, a whole bunch of cherry, a whole bunch of maple, some wingay. So they're all the same, so I'm not having to fit them. All I gotta do is cut the lengths and done. Which I think is the way to do it if I'm gonna do semi-production. I basically do 8 or 10 at a time because one off is just taking too long. Just takes too long. I mean, they look nice, but I'm not gonna make any money on them. I'd have to, if I were to charge by the hour for these cutting boards, I'd have to get $300-400 for them at least. And it's just they're not. I mean, they're nice, but they aren't worth that much. Although there's people getting it. There's a guy that does some, and he was doing the same thing kind of. He started out just doing a YouTube broadcast and making cutting boards, and he'd make 100 of them, and he'd sell them, pre-order as he was making it, and you get to say, "Hey, I want that one you're making now," and he would sell out before he finished the stream. He'd literally stream the whole process from beginning to end one time, be 8 hours. He'd drive he'd start streaming, driving into his garage, and just start ripping and setting up and gluing and creating cutting boards. And by the time he was done at the end of the night, he'd make 20, 30 of them, sell them for $250, $300 a piece, and they were all sold by the time he finished streaming. Dude up in Alaska, he does nice ones, but they're kind of patterned, and that's what I'm trying to stay away from is the pattern. I'm trying to do the random look because everybody's doing the patterns. But his are nice. I mean, they're really pretty. And he uses more exotic woods. He uses a lot of walnut. He uses a lot of yellow heart and purple heart and perdukes, and I'm basically the only I mean, I do some Purple Heart, but it's mostly maple, cherry, and walnut. Walnut's almost as expensive as the Purple Heart is. I want to do one that's kind of a flat cherry or a flat maple, and then put it on the CNC with an 1/8 inch bit and do like a swirly pattern. And then I can cut 1/8 inch pieces of Purple Heart or walnut or whatever and just kind of inlay it into that groove. I think that would look cool as crap. Then I could do like a swirly pattern, kind of flowy looking thing, which I think would look awesome. But anyway, that is that. It's been over an hour. I made it 1/2 of a cutting board. I could make the other half. I have enough pieces. Not in the mood. It's too freaking hot out here. It's just too hot. My bandsaw works. New bandsaw. I got blades finally. Now I went from not having any blades to having almost too many blades. They all showed up at the same time. It works pretty good. There's stuff I definitely don't like about it, which I had a feeling, but it's free, so I can't really bitch about it. I will probably do a review on it though at some point, even though it was free, because everyone hypes about it, says it's so great, and I've already found like 3 or 4 things I really, really dislike about it. Almost kind of like the cheap Grizzly one better, but they're all. I mean, no, I like it better. They're all like set up and adjustment stuff. Once it's set up and adjusted, it's a wicked nice saw. It's just not the easiest one to set up. I'm hearing a high pitched whine. Oh, it's kind of a weird thing they're doing over there. I don't know what they're doing. It's almost like a backup beeper, high pitched whine, but it's more constant. I think it's if you level your bed. What bed? The bed on it? Yeah, it's all level. I did all that. It is a pain. It's not very easy to do. Square it. You don't level it, you square it. Trim it. Actually, you're squaring it on that. Anyway, I redid the table saw this morning too because we could never get it quite to go to 90 degrees. So I had to readjust the stops. It was always like 89.8. I could never quite get it to go 90 degrees. And it's just, they got the little screw stop on the adjuster for the thing. Oh, yeah. Anyway. So, yeah. I think I'm going to kill the stream. That was fun for an hour. There's a whole 3 people watching, it says. Yeah. You all have a good afternoon. It's raining here and miserable and kind of yucky. I'm actually kind of glad it's raining though, because if the sun was out, it would be even worse, I think. But I'm like drenched. I'm sweating. And I got crap all over my last halfway decent clean shirt because I'm a dumbass. Anyway, y'all have a great day.